Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're having a quick look at when is the best time to stop affirming for what it is that we are manifesting. So when we're manifesting a particular desire in our reality, what we are actually doing is changing our mindset in a way that when we actually perceive our reality, we're seeing things working in our favor. So no matter what is going on, this is why the circumstances don't matter, because when we actually continue to talk to ourselves in a favorable way, we overcome the circumstances because our brain starts to perceive our reality in the favorable way that we are affirming for. So when we actually want to manifest a particular desire, a specific desire, what we are actually doing is we are training our brain. So we're looking at neuroplasticity here, and we're dwelling on an actual possibility. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, we are remembering our future rather than our past. So the reason why we may experience things in a victimized way is because we have experienced traumas in our life from before. And when we actually experience these traumas, we victimize ourselves in the moment because it's human nature to do this. We would dwell on it for a good bit of time, which caused our brain to be programmed in that way. And then inevitably we started to see ourselves in that way. So if we created the same experience then later on down the road, it is not because there is something within us that doesn't deserve what it is that we want. It's because we decided in the moments that we created the trauma before that we were victimized, and we dwelled on it rather than actually accepting it for what it was and working through it, maybe through therapy or maybe just building ourselves up and our self-worth up. Rather than doing those things, we decided to maybe victimize ourselves. We may be crying, we would be talking to our friends, we may, anything that we do when we experience something that is undesirable, we normally have a tendency to do those things because it's human nature. It's the way that we were programmed in our reality. And when we know that we are manifesting something, it's going in the opposite direction, meaning that no matter what is going on in our reality, it's a perception, and the perception is coming through the lens of our mind. And so as we continue to affirm for what it is that we want, it starts to become innate within us. So when we start to do this and it starts to become innate within us, our behavior starts to show it in this way, because the neuroplasticity is going in the other way. We're dwelling on the positive in the favorable way. We see a circumstance we don't like, we actually say, okay, but it's serving me in some way. Our brain is starting to pick up on this, and obviously then our perception of things is going to turn around. So when we are affirming for something specific, it's not that there is an actual time for it to stop. We can continue to affirm whenever we want. Even when we actually manifest the thing, you can continue to affirm for it. It's the neuroplasticity of actually retraining the brain to see what it is that you want to see in your reality. So when we're manifesting and we think to ourselves, okay, so when do I stop doing this technique? When do I stop affirming for what it is that I want? Do I go on to something else? All of these questions are actually just teaching us that what we have to do is actually look deeper within what it is that we are manifesting and the life that we want to create, and ask ourselves, is my brain automatically thinking in favor of this direction? So this is why it can happen, whatever. This is why we have least resistance to things like maybe manifesting a cup of coffee, or we see things as smaller manifestations than maybe manifesting a desired relationship. It's only because our brain is trained in a way that we see manifesting a cup of coffee as something simple, because our brain has a logical sense of knowing that we've never had trauma behind getting the cup of coffee, or going to a coffee shop and getting the coffee, or going into a shop and getting coffee. And so it's easy for us to materialize this result without having to affirm for example. But when it comes to traumas that we may have experienced in regards to money or relationships or jobs or anything, there's more of a training that goes on that actually our brain has to rewire in a different way. And so that is why there may be a little more time to affirm for something else that seemed a little bit more bigger than manifesting a cup of coffee, if that makes sense. Because what we are doing is we are using neuroplasticity in a way that our brain is, it bounces into the past, for example. So when we have an idea or a memory of the past, and we see something in our present moment and it reminds us of something in the past, maybe for a split second, it could be trauma or anything like that, the brain bounces back to that, to what it knows. But we want the brain to bounce into the future, and we want the brain to bounce into the solution of whatever it is going on. And so we want the brain to know that whatever is happening is not to do with anything about trauma. It's actually serving us in a way that is favorable. It has a purpose in our life. And the more that we train the brain in this way, the brain starts to bounce into that, and inevitably then things become more easy to manifest, because we're not holding on to any, I suppose, traumatic emotions or negativity about it, because our brain is starting to become accustomed to the positive way of being. No matter what it sees on the outside, no matter how unfavorable a circumstance is, the brain automatically starts to say, well, it doesn't matter what's going on right now, because the solution will come to me. I will figure it out. All of these kind of positive affirmations will come in an automatic way. And that is when you kind of know that you are on the right track. That is when you kind of know that all your affirmations or your self-regulation and everything that you are doing on a daily basis is working, and everything is actually unfolding in the best way. So I thought I would make a quick video on that. If you have any questions, you can comment down below, and I will chat to you soon.